I want to talk about how third-party library authors make their Python objects feel like native Python objects. It's all about Dunder methods. So I'm going to take x equals 2 and y equals 3 and say x plus y. When Python executed this code, what it actually did is it called the Dunder add method on x and it passed it y. Now, by Dunder add, I mean double underscore. If I look for help on x, which is an integer, I will see there are lots of Dunder methods. These are methods that have underscore underscore something underscore underscore. A Dunder method is basically a contract between the person who made the particular class that we're looking at and the Python interpreter. The person who made that class defined a method to let Python know when someone tries to use the plus symbol on my object, call the Dunder add method, and I'll give you the right answer. In fact, when you try to ask if two things are equal, that relies on the Dunder EQ method. Even equality relies on Dunder methods in Python. Now, this is a contract between the person who made the class and Python itself. We are not supposed to call Dunder methods directly. We're supposed to use the high-level operations that end up relying on those Dunder methods. I'll show you an example of why we're not supposed to call Dunder methods directly. So if I say y.eqz, I'm checking the equality of y and z. Y is 3, z is 3.0. I see not implemented. This is a special value that tells Python, as an integer, y, I don't know how to check myself for equality with a floating point number. So Python then has to ask the floating point number, are you equal to the integer? It says true. That's the reason y equals equals z actually works. This is the way we're supposed to do things, using the equals equals operator. This is not the way we're supposed to do things. This is Python's job, is to call the Dunder methods. Our job is to do the high-level operation. Dunder methods in Python, they power operators like plus, minus, multiplication, equals, equals. They also power some of the built-in functions. So if you ask for the length of something, that actually relies on the Dunder len method. And this is the reason that len is a top-level built-in function as opposed to a method, because Python's decided, even though this isn't an operator, the idea of having a length is pretty fundamental. So we're going to make a function called len that just delegates to a built-in, delegates to a Dunder method, but it's going to be used for finding whether something has a length. Having a length is all about that Dunder len method. And in fact, many of the things that seem completely fundamental to Python, like indexing a list, are powered by Dunder methods. The Dunder getItem method is actually called whenever you use square brackets on an object in Python. So Dunder methods power pretty much all the operators that are in Python and even some of the built-in functions. A Dunder method is a method that Python knows about that has two underscores before it, two underscores after it, and it's a contract between the person who implemented a certain class and the Python interpreter, which knows when to call that particular Dunder method. If you make your own classes in Python, you can use Dunder methods for operator overloading, and that's actually what third-party library authors do in order to make their objects in their libraries feel like native Python objects.